welcome to my channel. What am I doing today? Today I am doing the paint session to these gorgeous Arteza watercolor paints that was graciously gifted to me by my friend, and I really enjoy them. You will see me do a little tutorial about this piece, and let me talk to you about what some of the stuff that's been going on, how I feel about them. I did do some tests for them, so let me show you those. Okay, so here are the test piece I did for it. As you can see, the colors are really bright, and here's my little color mixing that I did. And I did some wet into wet in here, wet into dry, some mass tones, and you know what? It worked for me. I mean, I'm used to working with these kind of paints, so it really did work for me. As you can see, I was able to do some layering, so the piece really worked for me. So now let me quit my blabbering and get you to that paint session. Okay, let's get started. I'm showing you guys the paints and my swatches, and let's get into this painting. I'm first wetting the surface with some clean water just so that I could have that diffuse effect for the sky. I'm hoping that it will be successful, but I am not sure about that. The brush that I'm using is actually from Zen Art. I believe this is their number 10 brush that I'm using, and I'm going in there with some sky blue mixed with some ice blue. I think that was a beautiful combination for the sky, and I mixed these two blues together so that I can have this very light effect to the blue, because I think the ice blue was too light and the sky blue was a little too dark, so I kind of mixed it to get a very good medium. As you can see, I was having a bit of difficulties with those paints, and then I used lime green for the grassy background. I think I would have diffused this a bit because I think the lime green yellow was a bit too neon for me, so I put some pear green down and I mixed it with some olive green, especially towards the back of the dinosaur, more to the mountain side. You'll see me put some olive green on that side. Yeah, right there you see me going in with some olive green. I tried to pare down that lime green a bit because it was a bit too neon-y for me. It was so bright, you know, almost hurt your eyes bright. And at this time, I honestly did not know how I was going to paint the dinosaur. I was just trying to capture the background. For the mountains, I use tape. I believe that's how you say it, tape, mixed with a bit of sepia. And I think I also use latte brown with some coffee and tan. This was a really mixed up kind of brown because I wanted the top of the mountain to look a bit lighter than the bottom of the mountain. And so I used a mixture of these kind of brown and these matted kind of brown to kind of show those mountains. And again, still using the same number 10. Wait, let me check on that. I think it's the number, yeah, number 8. Sorry, it was a number 8 round from the Zen Art series. And here, this is a mixture of sepia along with latte. I went a bit overboard there, and I brought it back. And then I mixed a bit of latte with toffee. And no, these are all colors browns in the Arteza set, and they're very gorgeous, guys. I didn't do a lot of color mixing, but I find out that, you know, to diffuse a color, because when I use the color pure, as I did there with deep green, it was a bit too bright for my liking, so I kind of bring it down a notch. But it's just a personal thing. I actually was not planning to do any color mixing whatsoever, because with 60 colors, you don't really need to do any color mixing. As you can see, I am using deep green for the spikes or the little points on the dinosaur, and then I believe I go in there with some sap green on the trees. I think I toned this down with the mixture of lime green and pear green, just to bring it down a bit. And I believe the blue that I used in there is actually ultramarine blue, just to darken some spots on the tree a bit, you know, to show what the dinosaur is eating. Yeah, you'll see me dipping some ultramarine blue just there, just to kind of dip it up, you know, make it look realistically. And I think I did the same thing for the second leaf configuration to the bottom. The trunk of the tree, I think I did those last. I think my next step here after doing this was actually the grass on the bottom. And for this I use a combination of pear green mixed with olive green, and for the one to the back was actually olive green mixed with seaweed. And again, that's because if I use the colors on their own, it looked a bit too bright for me, so I like to tone it down a bit. Here I'm going into the dinosaur with a mixture of sage green and sap green, just to kind of, you know, tone down the dinosaur. Because I was going for that tone effect, I decided to continue with my mixture combination. And for the far legs, I use a combination of sap green mixed with a little bit of olive green, just to kind of darken it a bit, but not to make it too dark or let it too. The color here is yellow ochre that I use for the belly, and for the eyes I use yellow ochre, and I diffuse the yellow ochre from the one from the eyes to kind of match it on the rest of the green color. And this is where I use the sap green and the olive green just a little bit, just to kind of show those far legs. I think the next point here that I used was the grass, where I mixed the seaweed with the olive green. And then for the trunks of the trees, I went in there with some burnt ochre mixed with Bordeaux red, just to kind of, like, you know, again, tone it down just a bit. It was really fun working on this. It didn't take me long. It took me about an hour and a half to finish this piece. I noticed that lately I haven't been painting real fast. I've been painting real slow, real deliberate, thinking a lot about my colors, thinking a lot about the message I want to portray, what colors I want to use to portray them. And this is where I made the huge mistake of adding in that dark sky color, because I thought the sky was too light. And it was a huge mistake. But guys, you live and learn, then get love. But it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, friend, for this. I really enjoy using these paints, and I will continue enjoying them. Now let me stop my blabbering so you guys can get to the wrap up. As you can see, it was fun. It was great. I did have a whale of a time using it, and I think I kind of ruined it a bit when I decided to go a bit darker on the top, but you know what, it's okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey, and as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.